Hey everybody, it's Kaylee. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am an online reseller. I go to thrift stores. I find items that sell for money on eBay and Poshmark to make a profit. Okay, long story short, I was on YouTube and YouTube's been feeding me some like weird videos lately. I definitely have not searched for this, but for some reason lately, YouTube has been suggesting to me why I quit Poshmark, why I quit reselling, why I quit eBay. And I wasn't clicking on those videos, except one popped up on my feed this morning and I decided to click onto it and to watch it. I'm not going to share their information because I doubt they would want me to, but it was a video from a month ago where they quit reselling basically, and they explained why and their frustrations, and some of their frustrations in the video were about YouTuber resellers and how we make reselling very unrealistic. And I don't know, that video just basically broke my heart because a lot of the things she was saying I could definitely relate to because, you know, not too long ago I was a newer reseller and I have gone through many tribulations and trials to get to where I am now. And you know, I made a lot of mistakes and I wish I didn't make them, but I think they were part of the learning process. All this to say, she just reminded me of a lot of hard times in my business. And honestly, I just felt so bad for her because she failed. She felt like a failure in her business and she quit. She gave up. And there was just a lot of things that had I been able to talk to her, or had somebody been able to talk to her, or someone on YouTube been able to get her, I think, you know, she could have turned it around and not quit reselling and not had to go back to another job, which, you know, I'm not her, so I don't know. Maybe she loves her job, but in my opinion, entrepreneurship is the best job that there is. I would rather work for myself than someone else. And if that's at all possible for any of you, then I want to help you do that. So anyways, this video, like, again, just broke my heart. And since I watched that video, of course, I was getting suggestions more and more. So I watched a couple of other videos of people that had quit Poshmark or had quit eBay or just reselling in general. And I just wanted to know why and kind of their reasoning behind that. And also, after watching that very first video, I also felt like it was my duty to be very transparent about what it takes to be successful as a reseller. And so taking all of that in, I kind of gathered some ideas of what I think it takes to be successful as a reseller. If you're a beginner to reselling, or if your business is currently not going as you planned, I wanted to share kind of some tough love with you about what it really takes to succeed in reselling. If you're not doing these things, or if they're not for you, then reselling is probably not for you. But if you can do them and you persevere and you push through, it can be the best business ever. There are a lot of sirens going on as I try to make this video. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope everything's okay. So I recently made a video about how to make consistent sales on eBay and Poshmark, and that video did pretty well, although I think I did irritate some people because it was the most thumbs down I've ever got, and then also the most thumbs up I've ever got ratio-wise in comparison to the amount of views that I got. So I think it really stirred some people up. This video is going to be similar to that. So real business talk, guys, it is very hard to be a successful reseller. You have to have a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity, and more importantly, you have to find a way to be motivated. When you work for yourself, it's really hard to stay motivated because you have a ton of distraction. And if you are not staying motivated, that means you're not staying consistent in your business. And I think we can say with anything, whether it's business, relationships, dieting, anything, if we're not consistent and we're not giving it the time it deserves, it's going to fail. So if there's one thing I can tell you about succeeding in the reselling, it is that you absolutely have to be consistent. Doesn't mean you have to do something every single day. If you are a part-time reseller, or if you're part-time working to become full-time, you want to quit your job, no matter what, you have to be consistent, whether that is every single day or every other day. You really need to set yourself a schedule and set aside time to do those things for reselling in your business that you need to do, and then really nail them out. Like, grind it out in that short window of time that you have. Do nothing but reselling. Don't get distracted by everything around you. I think this is especially hard for moms. I am not a mom myself. Nikki's a mom, my sister's a mom, my mom's a mom. But, you know, I do know a ton of people that have little kids at home, and, you know, talking with all of them, it really is impossible to get stuff done with your kids around. Maybe not for everybody, but I would say 99% of people with young kids at home, it is very difficult. So I think it's especially hard for moms to find ways to set aside time, or to find, you know, someone to watch your kids so that you're not distracted. I totally get that. I think it's extra hard. Not saying it's impossible, but it is extra hard to find a way to not be distracted. For those of us that don't have kids, I mean, there's really no excuse. I hate to say that, but like, I do not have kids. I have dogs. I'm a dog mom. But, you know, when I found myself not being consistent, not showing up every day for my business, I was like, really, what is my excuse? I didn't have one. So it's really important to be consistent and to do all the tasks in your business consistently. The most important one is listing, which brings me to my next point. If you want to sell, let's say 10 items a day, it is going to be impossible to do that if you do not also list 10 items a day. So really look at your goals that you're setting for yourself. Are they unrealistic? Are you setting a goal, but then also not setting tasks or setting aside time to make that even possible for yourself? And it's very hard to sell X amount of items if you're not also listing X amount of items within the time frame that you've given yourself. I know for a lot of people, listing 10 items sounds like that would take forever. Like, you'd never be able to get that done. And I was there with you for a really long time. Like, listing 10 items a day seemed like the hardest freaking thing for me. Like, it was so hard. But it wasn't until I got consistent and started setting aside time for specific tasks that I was really able to see that it really doesn't take that much time. Which brings me to my next point, which was, how efficient are you really? Like, really be honest with yourself. I think a lot of us think that we are super efficient in life, in our business, but the truth is, if you actually sat down and took the time with no distractions and you timed yourself about how long it takes you to do a task undistracted, I think you would be absolutely shocked at how much you're not getting done. At least that's how it was for me. I was like, 10 items a day, can't freaking do that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. And I just tried to fit in listing wherever I could. Once I actually sat down and I said, I'm going to list 10 items, I'm going to time myself. I just, told my little home hub thing over here to time me, or you can time on your phone or a stopwatch or whatever you want to do. But, say I'm going to sit down and I am going to list 10 items. I'm going to see how long it takes, and then take that overall time, divide it by 10, and then see what that number is. I think you would be absolutely shocked at how little time it actually takes to list, to photograph, to draft, to do comps, to prep your items. If you're doing it without distraction, it really does not take a very long amount of time. It takes me, let's just talk about the drafting portion, which is just filling out the listing. Let's not talk pictures or assigning pricing. Let's just talk about the drafting portion. That takes me about 2 minutes, sometimes up to 3 minutes on average. So, I'm thinking, if let's just say 3 minutes per draft. If I'm doing 10, that takes me 30 minutes. Why can I not find 30 minutes in a day to draft 10 items? And then photographing takes me, again, about 2 to 3 minutes. So let's say, again, it's 3 minutes. That's another 30 minutes. That's an hour of my day that I could get up 10 items if I was completely undistracted. Can you find an hour in your day to list 10 items? I think you could. I know there's, still got shipping, you still got sourcing, but I mean, listing is most people's problem. Listing consistently, listing often is most people's issue and why they can't make sales. So I challenge you guys to actually sit down remove all distractions and time yourself, average it out. How long does it take you to actually draft? How long does it actually take you to photograph? Do that and then drop a comment down below. Let me know how long it takes you. If you've never timed yourself, it is really, really eye-opening. And again, I think you guys would be shocked at the amount of stuff you're not getting done. If you really were undistracted, you could get so much done in the matter of a couple of hours. Things that seem just absolutely impossible right now because you're not setting aside time undistracted. I've said this in another video, but I had to stop watching YouTube videos while I did tasks. I'll still listen to like music or podcasts, but something visually that I have to like keep looking at or keep, deciding what the next video is was really eating into my time and super distracted me. I did not realize it until I quit doing that. So, start off completely undistracted. Time yourself, let me know. Another really big inefficiency I see resellers making is they are not putting tasks into bulk. So, as I was talking about timing, I'm talking about drafting 10 items, photographing 10 items, doing things in bulk. That way you're not going back and forth. If you're the kind of person that is doing a listing start to finish and then moving on to that next item, doing it start to finish, you're probably wasting a lot of time, unless your goal every day is only to list 1 or 2 items. Anything more than that, you're going to definitely save time by doing things in bulk. So separating out your tasks, the photographing, the drafting, the prepping, all of that, you would really be surprised at how much time you save by just doing it all in bulk. Next is something that this girl mentioned, which was that people are not very transparent in their YouTube videos about their numbers. First of all, I want to say, I think there's a reason people are not very transparent. Not just because we don't want to discourage people from one business model. I really hate sharing cost of goods because I don't want somebody to think that they need to spend $5 to sell something for $25. Because that might not be their business model. They might not have the means to do that, or they might not be as skilled at sourcing as I am. So they are picking up things for $5 that aren't going to sell for $25. So honestly, I think that's a personal choice, and I'm just throwing it out there YouTube wise. That's why a lot of YouTubers don't share specific numbers like that, because we don't want to discourage everyone and because everybody's business model and risk tolerance is different. But as a reseller just in your own business, it is definitely important that you understand the numbers. And I don't know what I got from what this girl was saying, as well as what other videos that I watched of people that had quit were saying, was that they were watching these YouTube videos and it created this expectation that you could buy something for this amount, sell it for this amount, and you're going to be profitable. But the problem I did not get was, why are we relying on other people's information? Why did we not know? Why didn't we dig deep and see how much is this actually going to cost me? What are the fees? What does my profit look like afterwards? You cannot just rely on YouTubers or blogs or whatever and what everybody else is doing and just take it as facts. You need to really figure out, you should know what your fees are. You should know how much is coming out. You should know how much shipping should cost. If you don't know your numbers, if you don't currently have a bookkeeping system in place, if you don't do it at least monthly, I highly suggest to get your numbers into place. I personally created just a small spreadsheet for myself of how to calculate profit while I'm at the thrift store that I can just pull up on my phone and type in if I need to. And all it basically does is I tell it what the cost of goods would be, and then I tell it what I think I can sell it for, and then it spits out the profit based on my numbers and which platform I'm selling on. But just as a little example over here, let's say you're selling on Poshmark. You absolutely need to know that your selling costs are going to be 20% of your gross sales. So if you sell something for $25, let's say, 20% of 25 is $5, which means if you sell something for $25, you're automatically only getting $20 for that item. But then you also have to know to take out your cost of goods. Let's say your cost of goods is $5. Therefore, you're making a $15 profit. That is, also not including your supplies. If you have to purchase shipping labels, if you have to purchase Bags, which by the way, there are ways to get free shipping supplies. You really, other than shipping labels, should not be purchasing shipping supplies. Just throwing it out there. Even tape, you can convince your post office to give you tape. There's really no reason you should be paying for shipping supplies unless it's like a clear bag to protect the item in, you know, thank you stickers, thank you cards if you want to do that, tissue paper, you know, those stuffers that aren't really necessary, but the necessary stuff you should be getting for free. Just throwing it out there. If you're paying for shipping supplies, there are ways to not pay for shipping supplies. So, you know, I don't think a lot of people calculate that, especially newer resellers. You're just watching YouTube videos and you're assuming if I just do what these YouTubers are doing, then I will also make the same amount of money. But there are just so many factors involved, and you yourself really need to know your own numbers. It is very eye-opening when you actually sit down and you look at your numbers, you look at how much came out in fees, you look at how much came out in shipping, you look at how much your supplies cost and also your cost of goods to really calculate what is your actual profit number at the end of the day. So if you're not doing that, please, 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 you've got to know your numbers in order to be successful. And it doesn't really need to be that complicated. You can literally calculate all this stuff in like 10 minutes. All these platforms give you sales reports. So all you really need to do is know how much you paid for the item. They separate out the fees and everything for you. So it's actually really simple. Something else people mentioned a lot was that they felt like they were running out of time. Again, I would urge you to check how efficient are you actually? Are you actually being undistracted when you do these tasks? But let's say that you are. Let's say you're completely as efficient as you can. A lot of what I heard get mentioned was that, you know, there comes to a point where they want to grow their business, but they run out of time and they don't have any time left in their day and they need to hire somebody, but they can't afford it. If you get to a point where you need help in your business, but you can't really afford to hire an employee, what I would suggest you doing is making sure to automate any of the tasks that you can, or paying for automation services. They are typically pretty affordable and they make a big difference in your business and save you a lot of time. For instance, I personally use Reseller Assistant to share my Poshmark closet for me. They share several times a day. They're basically like having a VA, and it is actually pretty affordable. The link to that is down below, as well as a coupon if you would like to try out Reseller Assistant. They also just added new tasks like sending offers out. So yeah, I would check into that if you haven't already. I think they might also be doing like cross-posting. So lots of services coming out, but definitely the sharing aspect is one that I just don't have time for, but it makes a big difference on a platform like Poshmark. You could also hire a VA to do tasks like that for you. Anything that you can give out without much training is really what you want to look for, because again, you already don't have time. You're not really going to have time to train someone. So I would look for services that are already trained in that and can help you with your business until you get to a point where you can actually hire someone that you're able to train. Another service that might help you with time is List Perfectly, which is cross-posting your items on over to other platforms. You know, it grabs your pictures, grabs your descriptions and all that information and sends it over to the other platform, which basically cuts your time at least in half going to other platforms. But if you're a new reseller or you're struggling already and making enough money in your business, I don't suggest cross-posting to other platforms. Stick to one platform until you get that down, or else you're going to be all over the place and constantly distracted. I won't really go into it too much in detail, but if I were to give you, as a newer reseller or as someone who is struggling, one platform to be on to get your business rolling, it would be Poshmark, because it is so easy to list. You can list really quickly, the shipping is a breeze, and again, you can automate a lot of stuff. And the last thing I want to say, I say it in like every video, but I feel like I have to reiterate it here, is one of the reasons you might not be successful is because you are not focusing on sell-through rate. You are just focusing on what some items have sold for on the sold comps. So for instance, if I looked up express leather jacket, let's say, and I went to comps and I hit sold and I did not pay attention to any of those numbers, and I just saw, oh, look, there's one express leather jacket that has sold for $100. Then I might think that that's a good idea to pick up what's in front of me, an express leather jacket, because I'm thinking in my head it's going to sell for $100. But the problem with that is there are, let's say, 100 express leather jackets and only 5 of them have sold, which means that it is not a very desirable item and the likelihood of that item selling is very, very low. I think that's where a lot of newer resellers get caught up, is they do not check sell-through rate. And checking a sell-through rate is like a guaranteed way to make sure that your item is going to sell. I will link up here how to check sell-through rate if you're not sure how to do that. But if you're not doing that in your business, you are doing yourself a disservice, because again, you're going to be picking up items and spending money that you're not going to recoup very quickly, if ever at all. Okay, this is turning into a long video, but those videos, again, just made me so sad. And I wish someone would have told me these things back when I started reselling and gave me a little bit of tough love and told me mistakes and successes so that I could avoid those pitfalls and just skip right on over them and move towards making profit. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. If you're not currently successful in your business, if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel that you want to quit, please try and do those tips I just mentioned before you decide to give up, because this can be an extremely profitable business and one where you don't have to answer to anybody but yourself. I want you guys to be successful, so please, please, please do all those things I just mentioned. I promise you're going to see success if you do all of them. If you like this kind of content and you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscription button as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified as new content goes live. I make all kinds of tips and tricks videos, what sold videos, so you guys know what to pick up at your thrift store, as well as haul videos. So if you'd like to know when those come up, when they are brand new and fresh, please click those 2 buttons down below. I'd love to have you on the channel and chat with you down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.